Welcome to the Riskwiser Zone, the podcast where we dive into the world of stocks and finance to help you make informed decisions about your investments. I'm your host, Louis, and I'll be guiding you through the latest news and trends that are shaping the market. Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting interview with Ajay Srivastava, a seasoned investor and expert in the field of finance. He shared his insights on various sectors, including defense, oil marketing companies, and technology. What caught my attention was his take on the defense sector, particularly with the recent developments in drone technology. According to Srivastava, the defense sector is looking good, especially with the government's increased allocation for defense spending. However, he also cautioned that the existing private listed companies in the defense sector have a clear edge in the market, but there are many new players coming in, which could lead to intense competition. He also mentioned that the timeline for defense contracts can be very long, often taking 7 years or more to materialize. Srivastava also shared his thoughts on oil marketing companies, stating that they are not really companies, but rather an extension of government departments. He believes that if these companies were freely floating and able to price their products without government intervention, they would be much more valuable. However, as it stands, the TSU tag is a problem, and he tends to stay away from investing in these companies. It's also worth noting that Srivastava is not too optimistic about the oil marketing company's ability to increase shareholder value, given the government's control over pricing and excise duties. On the other hand, he seems to be more positive about the defense sector, particularly with the growth potential of companies like Hindustan Aeronautics and Bharat Electronics. As we continue to navigate the complex world of stocks and finance, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and stay informed about the latest developments. We'll be keeping a close eye on these sectors and bringing you more updates and analysis in future episodes. We'll be right back with more from the world of stocks and finance on the Riskwiser Zone. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone. We're halfway through our show today, and we've got a fascinating set of stories to dive into. Let's take a look at what's been happening around the world. We start with some news from Japan, where Nomura has announced it's raising the pay of its top executives to the highest level in over a decade. This move comes as the company looks to retain and attract talent in a highly competitive market. According to reports, the pay increase is a result of the company's strong performance and its efforts to boost profitability. Meanwhile, in the world of politics, the Keidanren, Japan's most influential business lobby, is set to install its first leader from the financial sector. This move is seen as a significant shift, as the organization looks to navigate the complexities of the global economy and promote the interests of Japanese businesses. In other news, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump can fire agency leaders, but with some notable exceptions, including the Federal Reserve. The decision provides clarity on the president's powers and is likely to have significant implications for the Fed's independence and decision-making processes. We also take a look at the economic indicators coming out of Japan, where consumer prices are rising at their fastest pace in 2 years. This is driven largely by increases in food and energy costs, which are putting pressure on policymakers to take action. The Bank of Japan and the government are facing calls to respond to these price rises, with some arguing that more needs to be done to support households and businesses. Finally, we note that online defamation continues to be a significant issue in Japan, particularly for reality TV show performers. There have been several high-profile cases recently, highlighting the need for greater awareness and education about the importance of online safety and respect. That's all for this segment of the Riskwiser Zone. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you updates as more information becomes available. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on the Riskwiser Zone. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone, where we've been navigating the twists and turns of the market with our signature blend of sophistication and accessibility. As we approach the final minutes of our podcast, I'd like to take a look at the latest developments in the world of finance. It seems that stocks have lost steam in the final minutes of U.S. trading, according to Bloomberg, the close. This phenomenon is not uncommon, as investors often scramble to adjust their positions before the closing bell. As I always say, a correction is when you lose money. A bear market is when I lose money. But in all seriousness, it's essential to maintain a level head and not panic during times of market volatility. Meanwhile, in Asia, the trading day has begun, and Bloomberg, the Asia trade, is bringing us the latest insights and analysis from newsmakers and industry leaders. As we've discussed before, the Asian markets can often be a bellwether for global trends, so it's crucial to stay informed about the region's economic developments. Now, I know some of our listeners might be thinking, where do you stay your money Monday? Well, my friends, that's a great question. As we've discussed throughout this podcast, it's essential to have a long-term perspective and not get caught up in short-term market hysteria. Fundamental analysis is key, and we must always keep an eye on the underlying economic trends. As I often say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's certainly true when it comes to market patterns and cycles. By studying history and understanding classic market dynamics, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the financial world. So, as we close out today's Riskwiser Zone, I'd like to leave you with some final thoughts. Remember to stay level-headed, don't panic, and always keep your wits about you. And when it comes to investing, be sure to do your research, diversify your portfolio, and never put all your eggs in one basket. That's all for today's Riskwiser Zone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, invest with caution.